Lucy were real, and she had a real football, and we were all gullible enough to go chasing that thing. The words written on that football would say the Steelers are going to throw more to the tight end this year. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. Comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates. I hope you'll check those out as well. I'm not even getting into Pat Freiermuth. I'm not even touching how often he's going to see the football, or if this is the year the Steelers are going to throw over the middle, regardless of whether the quarterback is Kenny Pickett or Mitch Trubisky or Justin Fields or Russell Wilson or Mason Rudolph or now Aaron Rodgers. I'm throwing that one off to the side. I am going instead just at Darnell Washington, because there were very real indicators that Washington's going to see the football more often. There were very real things spoken by Darnell himself to suggest that he'd been told he's going to see the ball more. Now, on one hand, you can say, well, of course he's going to see the ball more. It's not like he could possibly see it less. He's been targeted 35 total times through 2 seasons. Despite all of that ridiculous size and strength, and yes, a comparable level of athleticism. Those 35 targets become 26 catches for 261 yards, 1 touchdown. That is making close to the least of this potential weapon as a pass catcher. Now, to Darnell's credit, and this goes right back to when he was drafted, he described himself as the sixth man. He's the sixth offensive lineman. He's that guy who bookends, support the tackle, to pick up guys coming in off the edge. He's got so much pride, not only that he expresses in that, but that he shows in it. Then what happens? You get through some of these summer workouts, even into Latrobe, even into the preseason games, and you get a little bit irrationally excited when you see him go up and get one of these balls, and you see how effortless it is for him, and you see that he can, if he gets ahead of steam, look really, really scary to the opponent. And then the regular season comes along, and something goes wrong. Coordinator forgets about him. Quarterback, like Wilson, for example, doesn't like throwing across the middle of the field. Or, and this one's my least favorite scenario, he gets thrown to in situations where he really shouldn't get thrown to. And you know exactly what I'm saying as I say it, because you can picture in your head one of those strange routes that he's going downfield in a straight line, and you're like, wait a second. You have a tight end for that. You have another guy who actually does that. But since we're seeing it with our own eyes, and since Darnell's talking about it himself, and since no less an authority than Rodgers himself brought up Darnell and what he can do for the offense on his own, it's probably reasonable that we go running at that particular football again. Darnell, for what it's worth, appears to believe in this. He sounds grateful that he's being considered.
It's just showing trust, You give your OC a trust that, hey, I had to run this route, I had to be at this spot where the quarterback going to be at, throw it at. So I feel like just give him trust, keep calling it, or even just add more things in similar to that, or things like that.
Okay, they're showing trust in him. They're showing trust in him in the moment. But there also was a legitimate connection. Not something that was just concocted out of thin air. This one was real between the Steelers and the Dolphins related to Jonnu Smith. This, of course, happening after Donald Parham went down for the season. My belief is that Parham, even though he would have been a clear number 3 on the tight end depth chart, would have probably been number 2 when it comes to being targeted for passes. That was the role that was being set up for him. 6'8" guy, easy for a quarterback to find and hit. Also reasonably capable of utilizing that size to do all those other tight end things that Arthur Smith likes. Moot point. Achilles, gone. So do you go big? Do you go for a Jonnu Smith, a Kyle Pitts? Do you aim high and put, a couple of twin tight end receiver types out there and limit, which you'd have to, Darnell snaps? Or do you just look at Darnell and say, okay, is there more there? Well, yeah, there's more there. There's obviously more there. Would I turn up my nose at Jonnu Smith or Kyle Pitts coming here? No, nobody would. But if you have the asset in-house and the asset has been largely untapped, might as well give it a go, but a real go. When we come back, J1Q. This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar. Today's J1Q comes from Kevin, who says, DK, wouldn't it have made sense for the Steelers to keep George Pickens and franchise tag him next year instead of having this hole still sitting there at WR2? Kevin, there's more to the game than the statistics. There's more to the game than highlights. George was going to give you reasonably a satisfactory figure for the statistics. He was going to get you X number of catches, X number of yards on X number of targets with X number of touchdowns, although that last X number was only 3 next season. So to an extent, you have here comes my second Peanuts reference in the same episode, but you have that Linus security blanket feeling by having Pickens out there and, of course, DK Metcalf out there, and you think, wow, here's a couple of guys who can really make a difference. And if one goes down or the other goes down, we have somebody in his place, unlike when the entire organization really got caught with its collective pants down when George got hurt last season. And all of that sounds nice. It also sounds, if we're all being honest here, tantalizing, because you can picture the caliber of some of these plays that'll be made. Why? Because we've seen them for years out of Metcalf, and we've seen them the entire time that Pickens was here. Speaking just to the latter, Pickens was a slam dunk for at least one catch per game that would make you go, wow. And you'd think to yourself, well, if only they targeted him 15 times, you'd be able to get at least 12 of those. That's where we run into the problem. There's a reason that Pickens has never been targeted that much. There's a reason that Pickens had only the 3 touchdowns. And yes, my goodness, there's a reason Pickens was traded. That's because he didn't bother running out a whole lot of his routes. That's because he was the definition of an NFL bad seed. And when it comes to wide receivers, he was the worst kind of bad seed because unlike, say, for example, Antonio Brown, who is all kinds of and remains a really, really bad seed, he never took it onto the field when it came to catching the football. Why? Because he knew if he ran every route as if it was the end of the universe, he was going to get the targets that he needed to produce the numbers that he badly wanted. Pickens isn't that player. He's not about to magically become that player in Dallas. He's not about to handle maturely being second fiddle to CeeDee Lamb. He's not about to be an adult when it comes to dealing with Dak Prescott when Prescott shows that he's going to go to where he's always been fed, at least in recent years, and that's to Lamb. And more important than any of that, and listen, You don't have to take my word for stuff like this, Kevin. I'm one person covering that team. You don't have to believe me. Other people see different things, hear different things, and express different things. But if you ever do trust in anything that I say that can't really be publicly supported, because you're not going to have the Steelers coming out and trashing Pickens after the fact, please believe in me that these players and these coaches are so happy he's gone. Now, that's not universal. It's never universal. And you're going to have somebody who's a genuinely good dude like Calvin Austin write something on social media about how much he's going to miss Pickens and whatever else. That's the exception, okay? It's the very, very, very minute exception in this scenario. They are thrilled he's gone. They feel they'll become a much more cohesive and accountable offense with him gone. And mind you, I can assure you, they would feel that way even if Metcalf hadn't shown up. I'm only talking about the subtraction element here, not even the addition. Of course, having Metcalf is awesome. They just wanted him out. And the head coach then wanted him out. In turn, the GM said, well, there he goes. So whatever it was that got everybody excited, and me too, for about 5 minutes, that's, wow, they're going to have these two wide receivers. It's going to be like what they've got in Cincinnati, and it's going to be fantastic, and they're so big, and they're deep threats. It's going to be awesome. This was even before the Steelers made clear who their number one quarterback was going to be. Throw it out the window. This was not about football. And by the way, just as an addendum here, if you think, Kevin, that Pickens was going to be a good citizen through a season where he was going to be a lame duck on a contract, and that he was going to sit around with a smile on his face waiting for this team to franchise him, oh, wow. No. Just no. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Steelers. Don't forget that we have a double shot coming your way today. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel and, of course, on the DK Pittsburgh Sports app and website. Really hope you join us. These things are a lot of fun.